how can I select a PC or a laptop or workstation for BIM work? So to answer this question, there are many aspects that need to be considered. So in this recording, I'll not be specifying certain specs, but I'll describe the strategies that me personally follow. So first question, I need to ask myself whether this device is my personal device or is it my organization's device. So if you are, for example, a freelancer or someone who is doing his own business and doing some small jobs, some BIM modeling, some small BIM scopes, that's one thing. And if it's an organization asset, that's a total different thing. So if you are buying a personal laptop, the second question that I would think about is the budget and how much are you willing to invest on that laptop. So usually I will not go and select the best laptop. Rather than that, I'll think about what's the budget that I allocated for this investment and then start selecting within the laptops that can be bought within this budget. But if I'm buying this laptop or this device as an asset for my organization, so for sure this is a kind of long-term investment. This device might be used on daily basis for production or for BIM scope for at least 3 to 4 years. That's the average lifetime of this device. So from my perspective, if I'm selecting for the organization, so I may lean towards investing on the best quality rather than thinking about the cost, because if I'll be using this device for such long term and on daily basis, I'm sure that the return of investment will be very good. The second point I would think about is what kind of software I'll be using. Sometimes when we think about this, we think about the software that we are using for the last few months. So if I'm a BIM expert or a BIM specialist working on Revit or on Civil 3D, I will be looking for a device that can support this specific software. But I don't think that's the correct approach. You need to open your mind and try to think of the possible software that maybe you are not using now, but you might be using in the near future. So think about whether you will be doing any other modeling. So for example, will you be using software like SketchUp, ArchCAD, 3ds Max even. So you need to have a good list of your possible software that you might be using through the life of the device. This may include also Photoshop or any other software. So after specifying the software that you'll be using and the various platforms, then you need to think about minimum specs required for this software. If, for example, you want to use Revit, that's totally different from using another software like Lumion, for example, that you might use for visualization of your BIM work. So if you're also using Revit for visualization, that's totally different from using Revit for coordination. So you need to understand the minimum specs needed for each software and for each use of the software. So also, if you are doing some graphic works together with your usual BIM work, you need to also consider this while looking for the best specs for your laptop. Once you do this analysis, you will then move to the next step where you need to think about four or five main components of your PC. So firstly, think about the processor, and when you are selecting a processor, you need to think um, about the speed for sure, but not only the speed. You will think about the ability to multitask. So you need to understand how many cores are in this processor, because the more cores you have, the more processes your processor can do simultaneously. So this is an important aspect. So select um, a speedy processor, and also processors that have multiple cores, like i7 or i9, depending on your needs. Also think about the turbo functionality. So some processors will have a base speed. So for example, the processor base speed is around 3.5 gigahertz, but it or the primary core can go to 5 gigahertz, for example. This is beneficial specifically with Revit, because some tasks that we do in Revit will rely only on the primary core. The second component you need to think about is the RAM, and I think nowadays the minimum RAMs should be around 16 to 32 GBs. I prefer 32 GBs, but as a minimum, but this is again up to you. Specifically, if you are purchasing a laptop, sometimes the difference between a 16 GB RAM laptop and a 32 GB RAM will be huge. So it will have a huge impact on the price. But if you are assembling your own PC, I think you will not find a huge cost difference between moving from 16 to 32 GBs. So if you are able to have 32 or more, that's the best for you, but still think about the minimum that you want based on the software that you will use. So if your software and the use cases of this software doesn't require more than 16 GBs, so in that case, maybe 16 GBs will be enough for you. Another point is the graphic card. This is one of the most important components of your device. And for this, think about two aspects. How many GBs is it? And also the speed of the GPU. There are too many good graphic cards available in the market, especially from NVIDIA. But again, try to understand the minimum that you want and select one that can fit for the purpose that you need. After that, I would think about the hard disk and ensure that you use an SSD hard disk. And for the capacity of this SSD, um, I used to think of larger capacities, but nowadays I tend to rely on cloud storages in addition to a small offline or a small hard disk in the device. So I think 512 GBs or 1 tera would be enough if you have access to cloud storage. I think that's the best scenario. So you will always have the files that you are working on currently stored directly in your device, while your archive or previous storages that you are not working on stored on the cloud. And for sure, this is in addition to the usual cloud common data environments that you will be relying on. So I don't think the capacity of your hard disk is um, a major factor anymore. Um, Lastly, what I can think of at the moment is the size of your screen. And from my experience, I think having multiple screens is more beneficial than having one large screen. So I tried at certain point having 34 or 35 inches, and this was the largest screen that I ever used for PC. But after that, I realized that still I need another one or two screens. So the best setup from my point of view is to have two or three screens of the same size. Um, and I recommend the usual 28 inches rather than having one large screen or even one large plus one small screen. Thank you.